What's this? We're actually producing another video? Yes, crazy to think. Yeah, the reason that we haven't produced anything since, what was it, July?
Yeah.
Is because I went off to school and did other stuff and my school is an hour away from where he lives and where I live. So it wasn't easy to transport back and forth to see movies every weekend. And also after one of our screenings during the summer, his camera got stolen from my car because I had left it unlocked. Very unfortunate, and because of that we weren't able to shoot anything. I was willing to shoot from my webcam, but based on the quality, based off of the possible quality, it wasn't really that worth it.
On the bright side, I got a brand new camera, brand new mic, brand new lighting setup and everything. We don't have that set up right now, but still, I got that. And the picture just looks so crisp and clean, and it's not even on its highest setting, so I'm a little bit happy about that. Still, that was a $400 mistake. Not that he had to pay.
But luckily I did compensate.
He did compensate. Compensate. Sorry. It's late at night. I've had a few drinks.
It's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It's New Year's Eve in Minnesota. We've got stuff to do. But luckily now we're going to do a quick synopsis of the last 3 movies that we saw before I hitched out of town. And those were Trainwreck, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and Straight Outta Compton. So we're just going to do a quick run through of those before we get to a couple of ones that we just saw recently and give our thoughts on those. So first, Trainwreck.
It's a literal train wreck.
But
Fuck. I want to explain the events leading up to this, because now during the summer, even though these were a lot of movies that you and I both wanted to see,
yes,
it was mostly me making the decisions. It was like, okay, we're gonna go see this movie. I mean, admittedly,
we're gonna go see Jurassic World. We're gonna see Genesis. We're gonna see Inside Out.
I did pay for your tickets most of the time.
A couple of times. I'm not a freeloader. I did pay for Genesis.
Okay,
I did pay for my own Genesis.
I'm just okay. What my mindset was, this was a week where, one, there weren't many movies coming out that I was, chomping at the bit to see. And since I had pretty much made all the decisions beforehand, I thought, Tom, you've earned it. Go ahead, pick a movie. Any movie you want. It was between Trainwreck and Ant-Man. Neither one of these movies I wanted to see, but Trainwreck in particular.
He is not a Marvel fanboy.
I'm not a Marvel movie fan, yeah. So,
even though literally everyone I know loves Marvel.
Yeah, but whatever, that's a topic for another day. So anyways, I was hoping he wasn't going to pick Trainwreck, but he did. And in my head, I'm like, fuck. But, I didn't say anything. It's like, yeah, cool, we're going to see Trainwreck. I bit my tongue as hard as I could. Went in, fuck. Just the first scene of this movie immediately kills all hope of it being good. It's their father coming out saying, telling his kids, it's like, mommy and daddy are going to get a divorce. Hey, you know that doll you're holding right there? It's not like it's the one doll you want the rest of your life.
What if your daddy wants to have some fun with the sister doll and other dolls?
Now repeat after me. Monogamy is not realistic, and then it's that. And then we cut to another scene where Amy, what's her face?
Amy Schumer.
Amy Shitface is having sex, and of course she's putting on that stupid voice. Oh my God, who did you fuck before this? Where are they buried? It's that voice throughout the whole movie, which of course, oh my God, again, I knew I was not going to like this movie before I even, but for one of the trailers, I I knew I wasn't going to like this movie. I had no plans on seeing it until you wanted to see it.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. You wanted to see it, so whatever.
To be fair,
this was hands down the most unpleasant experience of the year. I think the movie we saw before this was Terminator Genesis. And
No. The one before this was Inside Out, then Genesis.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, Genesis, I thought I named the worst movie I've seen that year. Not even close to what Trainwreck is.
No, you've got to be kidding me. Okay. I didn't like it either. Which I was actually really disappointed coming out of it because it's from Judd Apatow. I really like his work. I love 40-Year-Old Virgin. I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I love Knocked Up. Those are all very funny. But he didn't take part in writing.
I haven't seen any of his work before this.
It's actually very interesting. I've told you that 40-Year-Old Virgin is very interesting because it's a very likable lead with Steve Carell. I'm just going to say it right now. Amy Schumer I don't think is funny.
I haven't seen any of her comedic work before this movie.
She does a TV show called Inside Amy Schumer, and she does stand-up.
Again, I haven't seen any of her work before this movie, but if this alludes to anything of what she's really like, I never will. She is awful in this movie. She is the worst main character of the year.
I wouldn't go so far as to saying that, but yeah. I didn't like her.
She put Claire to shame. Claire from Jurassic World.
No, that's only let me just for those few of you who don't know the premise, Amy Schumer plays herself. Her character's name is Amy.
Cunt.
That's really lazy enough.
She plays a cunt. Shh. And I don't.
Hey, my parents are upstairs, so yeah,
Okay.
we're at my house this time, and they're actually more prone to language than your parents are. But yeah, Amy Schumer plays herself, Amy. That's really lazy. And she's, what else? A slut. Because of her dad telling her that monogamy isn't realistic, she gets drunk whenever she wants, she has sex with whoever she wants, and she has a good job. But she's still missing something in her life.
How the hell did she land that job? There is in no point in the movie do we see anything alluding to the idea that she's actually good at her job.
She's supposedly a journalist who works for a men's magazine. I hated the jokes coming from that because her boss is, I think, more unlikable than her.
It's basically like a play on TMZ.
It's a play on TMZ about how they're exploiting a specific demographic. They're exploiting men, which we should find funny because, they're exploiting us in that way, ha ha ha.
Which, okay.
It didn't land anything with us because her boss does not land any laughs because she's just playing an archetype.
Which, okay, here's one of the dumber aspects of the movie is that they turn to these people and they're like, wow, look at these guys, they're such pieces of shit, and that's the laziest form of it's the laziest form of satire there is, when you just do the thing when you just are what you're making fun of. But then two, they're making fun of them and they're saying, wow, look at these miserable people. Man, we sure hate these guys. But then they turn to Amy Schumer and they're asking us to like her, even though she's just as much of a bitch as the rest of them.
She's not likable. She tries.
This movie wants us to like her, but there is nothing enjoyable about her. She is a shithead to everyone she meets, including her so-called lover, which,
easy on the language.
I don't know for the life of me how a girl like her can actually find some stable relationship out of anyone.
The only realistic component of this is that she dates John Cena for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's when you know your movie is not going well. When John Cena, the kid-friendly PG-era wrestler, I'm a WWE fan, so this was actually really funny for me. He was the only funny character. Just because of the irony of his real-life situation.
Well,
he's in a raunchy sex comedy.
I only liked him because he was the only character that said, fuck you, Amy, you're mean. He's the only character that says that. And speaking of, during their sex scene, which somebody take it with a grain of salt, online said this is one of the greatest pillow talks gone wrong scenes ever put to film, which really it's not. It's just John Cena saying sports things and her saying these are just sports things. This isn't really sex talk. Whatever. He turns
dumb jock. Ooh.
He turns around and there's like his 3-foot dick being covered with a towel, and I turn to you saying, "Do you think that's actually his real dick?"
I wouldn't know, but whatever. The ladies will like his abs, and they show his bare ass.
Yeah. Though, okay, it's a rated R movie. This is one thing that you and I said. It's a rated R movie, but there's no hard nudity in it.
There isn't.
There's everybody. Everybody has.
It's just man ass. That's all it is. It's just man ass. That's nudity.
Everybody has tank top underwear sex, and not saying that nudity would have made this movie any better. But I just
But at
think
least
it's
it would have.
because
At least it would have made it sleazy.
There's no way in hell this movie would have gotten a PG-13 rating.
No.
So,
but regardless, Amy is very unlikable. She's not funny. And you put it best, she doesn't even look that hot. She's a 40-year-old Amanda Bynes.
Yes, that's the best way to sum up her character.
She's not that hot. She tries too hard. And this is my biggest gripe. I told you this right after we saw it. Her writing is, I thought it was really lazy. She wrote the script for this, which I think is the reason that this movie didn't work. Because Judd Apatow wrote the scripts for his other movies. She lifts a joke directly from her stand-up. I watched a stand-up special of hers before I watched the movie, and it was the one where she was at that baby shower for her sister, and she was around the fancy people, and they were doing share a dirty little secret.
Skeletons in the closet. It's my favorite game.
No,
something like that.
No. All the prim and proper women were talking about little secrets like, sometimes I eat ice cream when my husband is sleeping. And
the other one was...
This goes verse by verse, a joke from her stand-up. It's the final joke in one of her stand-ups. That, prim and proper girls, saying dirty little secrets that are really passé. And then she pops up and she's like, I fucked a cab driver and I thought I was pregnant, but then I had to fish the condom out of my vagina. And in her stand-up, it was when she let a cab driver finger her. I literally turned to you in the theater and I told her, this is from her stand-up. This joke is from her stand-up. I've already seen this. So the payoff was very lazy.
Again, if this is her best work. This is considered her best work. I don't want anything to do with her.
Everyone likes this.
This is being named one of the best movies of the year.
Movies or comedies?
Movies in general.
We did not like this. I usually like this stuff more than he does, which is saying a lot.
I'm really not a romantic comedy person. I'm really sick of this particular formula. Girl or guy meets opposite sex, whatever. They hit it off. After some bumps in the road, they hit it off, and it's all hunky dory. And then someone gets pissy with the other over a misunderstanding, and then it's mopey mope. And then by the end, they come back and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I was a jerk. Let's go back to where." That's this movie. And you know what pisses me off even more was that one of the trailers I saw for this movie was that it said, "This isn't your mom's comedy," implying that there's some kind of innovation to this formula. There isn't. And in fact, I wish I was watching one of my mom's comedy because they would actually be funny.
But it's the rambunctious soul, the rambunctious, tough-skinned soul who's wanting more, who finds a good person, and that good person brings out the good person in them. It's predictable from beginning to end. But the only I didn't like it. But there were some funny moments that I laughed at, only because of how sheerly awkward it was. That's the main experience that I can get from this. Awkward. They try and force in so many jokes that make the audience think they're laughing, but they're really not. It's just because of the situation. LeBron James and John Cena, the athletes out of the movie, are the only people who got laughs. Not any of the actors, not any of the paid and trained comedic actors. They didn't get anything out of me, only the athletes. That's how lopsided the script is.
I actually unintentionally sold a ticket to one of my coworkers when I mentioned that LeBron James was in this movie, and he's like, "LeBron James? Well, I have to see the movie now." Oh man, but yeah, this movie completely fails to understand the idea of making a unlikable character with redeeming qualities. They put the unlikable character there, and they just expect you to like it, or they put them in a world that accepts an unrealistic world that accepts them for who they are, where they just have a, you know, even though in reality a character like this would not have any friends, would not be able to hold any relationship of any kind, but everyone just kind of goes, "Oh, that's our Amy."
Oh,
but and they don't know how to make an unlikable character likable. I know that doesn't make any sense, but
it makes sense if you watch The World's End with Simon Pegg. He's perfect. Gary King.
Well, I mean, even he's a lot more likable than. I mean, he's not as shitty as Amy is. But I was thinking more something like Inside Llewellyn Davis, the Coen Brothers movie. Even though that's not really a comedy, but it's
a proper character representation.
Yeah, it's taking a really shitty character, because the main character is a piece of shit in that movie, but you're invested into what he's doing. You want to see this guy's journey. You actually want to see good come to him. He's put into a world that acts naturally to his attitude around them, to what he says to them, and what he does to people. Not everyone just kind of shrugs off his shittiness as being like, oh, it's just a class act. This movie, she can do pretty much anything she wants, up until she fucks a 16-year-old, which, by the way, this was the only moment of myself I kind of laughed at, if only because I was right. There's this one scene where she has sex with a coworker, the kid,
to try and make up after breaking up with her boyfriend.
Yeah. And of course it's blue jean tank top sex, but whatever. I lean over to you and it's like, this kid looks like he's fucking 15, or like a teenage age.
And then she punches him in the face.
She punches him in the face, and his mom comes rushing. It's like, mommy, my eye.
He's only 16,
and it's like, wow. And the most I could have hoped for after that is that she got arrested for pedophilia, but no,
she just gets fired.
She just gets fired from her job. Her shit boss is like, I can have you hitting my employees, I can have you fucking my employees, but I can't have you doing both.
Yeah.
It's that kind of movie.
Also, her dad is a complete asshole. There's nothing more to say. He's just an asshole, and I wasn't sad at all when he died.
Yeah, he dies.
Yeah, he dies in the movie. Spoiler,
Which is
whatever, don't care.
One of the biggest tonal shifts I've seen in a long time. Just out of nowhere, it's like,
he dies.
I think your father's dead, and they want us to feel sad, even though he was a complete ass all the way up until this point.
So we hate it because lead character sucks, the script sucks, the comedy sucks, and
it's an overly predictable story you've seen a million fucking times.
And it's just awkward. They try and force stuff constantly, and it just doesn't work.
It's like, it's sexual humor, and then it's like stretched out to death.
If you want a good romantic comedy, then if you want a good romantic comedy with sexual tension, watch Chasing Amy from Kevin Smith. I just watched that 2 days ago, and it is great. It actually does explore a relationship. It does explore tension, but it's also funny and also very engaging. Also, just watch any of the other Judd Apatow movies, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Sarah Marshall, and Knocked Up. Those are very funny, but also very engaging and also very emotional. Don't see this. At least we're saying it, but if you have whatever.
It's more. This more at this point is our retort against all the fucking movie of the year awards it's gonna get.
Pretty much.
I mean, I understand. I'm very, very picky when it comes to comedy. It's part of the reasons why I'm not a Marvel movie fan. But even then, this is terrible. I don't know why. Not necessarily why people like this movie, but why people like this movie and then throw similar movies under the bus is like, no, that movie's just painful to watch. It's such a shitty comedy. Oh, but this one's amazing. Why? It's the same shit. I don't understand people.
I didn't dislike it as much as he did, but still, didn't like it.
I stormed out of the theater.
No rating from me, just don't. I didn't like it.
I don't give ratings anymore. I just give my general thoughts. Fuck this movie. Worst movie of the goddamn year. And I didn't see all the movies of the year, but I doubt I'm going to find anything harder to sit through than this.
And also, that was when we found out his camera got stolen.
Yeah.
Worst day ever.
That was a really shitty night. I came out and I was kind of snickering, thinking, "Oh man, I'm gonna have a lot to say." One of my gags was gonna be I had my ticket stub. I was gonna rip it up into tiny pieces and blow it gracefully into the camera, and then grab you by your shirt collars and shake you vigorously, saying, "You son of a bitch!" But I didn't get to do that, and now and at this point it'd be pointless. It's like, wait, you just saw what kind of theater did you see that was still showing Trainwreck? Oh well.
Round 2, Rogue Nation. You describe this time.
Okay, so I've not seen any of the other Mission Impossibles.
What?
I haven't. So, Tom Cruise, what's the place called?
Let me do it.
All right.
Okay,
fine.
so it's returning to the Mission Impossible formula where Agent Ethan Hunt from the IMF Impossible Mission Force goes on mission. No, not missions, but a mission where him and his team are duped into forming. No, not forming. I was really confused during this whole movie because I was really tired and I was also really busy earlier that day. But all in all, the Rogue Nation is trying to front the IMF into being a terrorist affiliate, and they're trying to screw over the IMF and get them disbanded. So Ethan Hunt goes rogue with his team, including Simon Pegg, some really hot chick, and
No Shoes. Just call her No Shoes.
No Shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, No Shoes, and Jeremy Renner, in order to clear their name.
So, as the first Mission Impossible film, my initial thoughts of this is that I wish Jeremy Renner and Simon Pegg were in a lot more action movies because they are fantastic in this movie. So much so that I didn't quite care as much for Tom Cruise. Now, I don't have anything against Tom Cruise, and it's not like he was bad in this movie. But put up against Jeremy Renner and Simon Pegg, it was hard for me to be as invested in him as I was in them. I am a huge Jeremy Renner fanboy, and Simon Pegg is one of the funniest actors out there. So, really, the movie all in all was at least a fun ride, but at this point, it was kind of a by-the-numbers action movie as a whole. Some stuff I know should be really exhilarating and really get my blood pumping, but I've seen a lot of it before, so I more or less just had very lukewarm feelings of the movie overall. It didn't really blow me away in anything. The most impressive thing it did was it made me laugh because Jeremy Renner and Simon Pegg, just them together, is really funny. One of the funniest scenes in the movie was this one bit where Jeremy Renner's talking to this other guy. What's his name? Black guy.
Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames, okay.
I forgot his name.
Well, it's fine. Basically, Jeremy Renner's talking to him. He's like, "Where in the hell are we gonna find Ethan? Where the hell are we gonna find Ethan?" And then they're in the middle. Ethan's in the middle of a car chase, and he crashes and spins out right in front of Jeremy Renner. And they just wave to him, and then immediately he slams on the gas and takes off. And Jeremy Renner's like, "Found him!" And then he's trying to turn the truck around. He's like, "You just had to get the truck, didn't you? You just had to get it." It's like, "You want me to drive?" No. And he's just, it's so good. I love Jeremy Renner. And then Simon Pegg's driving with Ethan Hunt, and he's freaking out. He's in the middle of the car chase. He's freaking out. You see it in the trailers. They're going off a big jump, and he's like, "You have your seatbelt on?" He's like, "You're telling me that now?" And so the car flips, and they're upside down and everything. And Jeremy Renner saves the two of them from one guy. He crashes his car into him, and he comes underneath. Simon Pegg, who you think is unconscious, he's like, "How you guys doing?" He's like, "Oh, not bad." And Simon Pegg's like, "Oh, look out!" Just out of nowhere. So it's that kind of stuff. That for me was the highlight of the movie. The action bits were fine. Overall, it was pretty good.
I have nothing. So this is the only Mission Impossible movie you've seen.
Correct.
You have to see the other ones. Ethan Hunt is getting damn close to the iconic special agent character.
Which is interesting because this plot is almost exactly the same as Spectre. This came before Spectre.
I know. That's the interesting part.
Let me finish.
007's ripping off. I have nothing but respect for Tom Cruise because he's in his 50s and he's still able to pull off fight scenes, driving scenes, his own stunts, flying from the side of a goddamn plane.
A stunt plane that only takes off at 20 miles an hour.
It doesn't matter.
Instead of the 80 miles an hour that a plane's supposed to take off on.
It doesn't matter. It still looks amazing, and he's still willing to put his body on the line for these stunts, and he's still able to pull it off with grace and with still keeping to the character of Ethan Hunt, who is probably one of the most brilliant characters ever created. Not like brilliant. No, shut up. Okay. Not brilliant, symbolic, or like play-out wise, but pure intellect. Through the other Mission Impossibles, he's been able to create plans off of the spot. He's been able to retrieve impossible things on the spot, and the many impossible missions that they did in this were very intriguing. Even though I was still halfway aware during this movie because so much happens during this and so much flies by that it is hard to follow. So make sure you go in this with a straight-laced mind so that you're able to follow everything. But still, from what I got out of it, it was still very enjoyable, very much through the fast pace, through the quick direction, and yes, I did not even think Simon Pegg and Jeremy Renner's only in this for 20 minutes.
That's all the time he needed.
Fanboy. But Simon Pegg is still very enjoyable. He's still a very good accomplice. The only Mission Impossible I haven't seen is Ghost Protocol, which most people say is the best out of all of them. I still gotta get myself updated on that. But this one is very much by the book action movie, which this one did right, where Jurassic World got it wrong.
That's right.
But that's because it still kept us intimate with the situations. The impossible mission in this is where Ethan has to hold his breath for almost over 3 minutes.
5 minutes.
5?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Which, okay, it was I guess you can call this a nitpick, but they act like they say the reason why he has to hold his breath is because they say that if any metal goes into this machine that he has to jump into, it'll immediately lock up and shut down.
No,
but I'm thinking to myself, they make plenty of non-metal breathing devices for that very reason. The places that can't have metal go through. But okay, whatever.
But none can probably withstand the water pressure. He's trying to break into an intelligence vault where he's able to change the biological information of a specific person that they are trying to impersonate. And the safe is guarded by a flowing water chamber where all the information is encrypted. So he's in there and try and change everything, all in the span of this amount of time. I thought, oh my god, this is heavy, and it did pay off, and it did pay off in the end.
Yeah, No Shoes rescues him.
Yeah. Oh my god, I cannot believe how gorgeous she looks.
I think
Rebecca Ferguson, I just looked up her name. Hopefully she does more work.
No Shoes for me was probably the probably most lackluster thing in this movie. Not necessarily her character. It's the chemistry between her and Ethan Hawke. Hunt, not Hawke. Sorry. The chemistry between them is pretty lackluster for me. I didn't think I really.
They have to fit so much other story and so much other situations.
I understand that, but the movie wants you to feel something for them, and I really didn't. Her basic story is that she is acting. She's an accomplice for the bad guys, but she's acting. She likes Ethan, so she's constantly.
No,
going,
she's trying to get out. She's wanting out of the syndicate, which is the terrorist
because
group.
she wants to be with Ethan.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
God damn it.
You don't remember that?
No.
She really likes Ethan, and he's the main reason she wants to leave, and that's why she's going.
No, I thought she wants out for some other separate reason. I can't remember.
Oh, that's what I remember. Granted, it is a while since we've seen this movie, and there is a lot to take in all at once. But that's the general gist of it. It's a fine action movie, which didn't leave as much of an impact on me, but I'm sure a lot of other people are like it.
I really liked it, even though I only remember half of it.
Yeah, so it's fine. Pretty good, not great. Gets a pass from me.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Number 3, straight. 3 words. Straight out. Outta Compton.
Yep.
I requested him to go to this movie too, so I had 2 movies that I wanted to go to during the summer. One of them sucked. The other one,
This one I didn't mind going to. I should probably explain though my relationship with rap before we talk about this movie. I have a very, very love-hate relationship with rap because sometimes I really hate the stuff you get today. That's a whole lot of yo fucking bitch, you smoking weed, fucking niggas. That kind of stuff.
All it boils down to is 3 words: pussy, money, weed. That's all it is.
The rapping to be cool to me is long gone. If you're going to make rap, do something that's actually got a little bit of substance to it. That's my opinions on rap, and because there are very, very few rappers that do that and think they could still get away with just being cool with rapping about that bullshit you were just talking about.
The good rap. Eminem, Kid Cudi, Kendrick, Lamar.
And even they've got some bad stuff, but I mean, I suppose every artist does. But so that's my opinion on rap going into this. Now I understand that Straight Outta Compton takes place in the late 80s, early 90s. So it's hard to say that this is the. I understand this was very, very different for the time period, but even then, I can't say I'm a huge fan of these artists' work.
NWA.
I can't say I'm a huge fan, but that really doesn't matter because really all I should be able to do is find the story intriguing, find the characters likable, or at least well representatives to what their real life counterparts are. Which, funny thing, coming out of this movie, I told you, man, the guy they found to play Ice Cube is really good, and you're like, that's his son. It's like,
yep, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
It's uncanny how closely
it's scary how much they look alike.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He's like a imperfect clone of him, pretty much.
But shockingly enough, he's a good actor.
Yeah. So, as probably anyone knows, Straight Outta Compton is basically a biopic about the origin of NWA, and thus kind of the evolution of rap and...
I can explain this better.
Okay.
It's the formation of gangster rap. There wasn't necessarily a formation of rap that was embedded into pop culture as much as NWA was. NWA, the forming of Dr. Dre, producer, Ice Cube vocals, as well as Eazy-E vocals, with MC Ren also vocals, and DJ Yellow with production as well. Those 5 were the group known as NWA. What's that? No, it's allowed? No. Niggas with attitudes.
Yep.
Which I loved. I constantly watched the trailer before we saw this. We actually saw this on the Thursday before it opened. I was really happy because I researched their story into superstardom before this, and it is actually very interesting. Coming from Compton, the most crime-ridden neighborhood in the entire country, and being able to express the essence of smart rap is what came from this, because it instilled aggression, it instilled passion, and it instilled witness to whatever people didn't want to know was real. That was what NWA stood for, and I was so happy to see that a movie was coming out from a good director. There are terrible hip hop movies, Get Rich or Die Trying, anybody, 50 Cent, that are awful because they hire terrible actors who are actually the rappers that are growing up and that don't know the art of filmmaking. With Straight Outta Compton, they got a good director, F. Gary Gray, who had done stuff like The Italian Job, who knew what filming was. And he actually did put a good technique on this. He put a tense atmosphere, and he actually did put realistic situations in this where it shows...
Well, that's actually a few of my problems with this movie.
God damn it.
Okay, well, see, this is a problem that I have with a lot of biopics, even just any kind of movie that claims to be a true story, is that a lot of times when I watch it, I keep asking myself the question, did that really happen, or is this just something made for the movie?
Ice Cube and Dr. Dre were secondary producers behind this, so they made sure that everything that went into this was true.
But there's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of hard to believe, at least even though I know I grew up in small town Minnesota, so this kind of stuff could seem extremely foreign to me. But there's one of the early scenes in this movie was these two guys are driving up against a school bus, and one of the kids leans out, and I don't know, he flips them off.
He does gang signs.
He does gang signs.
They try and imitate gang signs with, "Oh yeah, what's up, gangsta, 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 woo!"
And so basically they park in front of the bus, and they pull out guns. They open up. They pull out their guns and they knock on the door. They ask them to open up so they can come on and point guns at the kids. Where the fuck in the world is that going to happen? Or at least, what kind of bus driver does that? Has such little... Oh my god. First of all, no, you don't open the door for people who have guns. 2, you slam in reverse, drive away. 3...
Again, easy on the cursing.
No, I don't have a third one, sorry. Anyways, that to me was was fucking ridiculous. And I could not believe that was real. I need some confirmation if that was real.
I could believe that was real because when someone points a gun at you, you don't
let them in. It's like, "Oh, you got a gun? Yeah, come on in."
If someone's got a gun at you,
and it can pierce through glass, through a bus, you will die. You will die. So you do what they tell you, or else you will die.
You do not open the door for someone who has a gun. I don't care if they say, open the door, I'm gonna shoot. You're concerned.
If you don't open the door, then they're gonna shoot you.
I really hope to God that bus driver was fired. I mean, another thing in this movie that I find to be pretty damn ridiculous was this one scene. Now I know some of this was true. Some of this I actually did research a little bit after I saw the movie. Was I think it was when they did the concert in Chicago.
Somewhere in the Midwest.
Detroit. It was in Detroit. Where the police pull them aside and they're like, "You will not sing the song Fuck the Police."
Fuck the police.
So well, they're like, fuck that, we're gonna sing it anyway. So they sing it, but then so the police in the back of the concert pull out their badges and they're trying to get up to arrest them. Well, one of the cops pulls out a gun and starts trying to shoot them. That is borderline terrorism.
They could have been rubber bullets.
I highly doubt that. I highly doubt they had tranquilizers on them.
No, rubber bullets.
That's what I mean. Well,
tranquilizers are filled with not poison, but they're filled with serum.
Rubber bullets are just pellets.
Either way,
coming at supersonic speed.
When I looked this up, I could not find any confirmation that any shots were fired at that concert. So, for me,
but it was still intense.
To me, it was fucking ridiculous. Like, that cop would have his badge taken away.
That was back in the early 90s when there was less restraint on police, which is what they were rapping about. There's not in this is when apparently police brutality was addressed.
There's, again, coming from what the research that I've done, this stuff really does stand out to me as stuff that was made particularly to say fuck the police. That's I know I haven't
which is actually coming at a perfect time considering the different movements that have come around authorities.
I understand I haven't said anything good about the movie yet, and I'll get to that in a sec, but let me just say the other gripe I have with this movie, which is it's disgustingly one-sided and extremely biased view of all police in the world, which is they're all racist, they all suck, they'll arrest you because you're black no matter what you're doing. They arrest Ice Cube for crossing the street. They come by outside their studio when they're just outside making milkshakes. Bunch of cops come out. They slap down their drinks and say, "Get on the ground." All I wanted in this movie, I just wanted to see one cop actually doing their job. That's all I wanted to see. Just have some sense of humility that's like, well, not all police are bad. No, this movie wants you to think that yes, all police suck. There is no point to their existence. Fuck them. I hate that. Okay? I hate any movie that does that, because I mean, just imagine this. If I had my wallet stolen by a black guy and then I said, "Man, I fucking hate black people."
Easy on the cursing.
Sorry. That would be considered racism. Well, okay, so you get wrongly arrested by a cop, and then you say, "Man, I fucking hate all police." How is that different? I mean, I know police isn't a race, but it's the same sort of stupid mindset of just being so grossly generalized, and it comes across as adolescent and immature. And that's what I don't like. So that's my gripes with this movie. And, well, I could talk a little bit about how I think they didn't quite go deep enough into what these rappers did when they weren't in concerts. How a lot of them are portrayed as heroes when, well, some of them weren't always the nicest towards women or other things. But besides all that, the movie's okay. Like, as a film, as a biopic, it's at least interesting. I'm at least invested into what's going on. You don't have to put your head down. I'm saying good things now.
You done?
Yes, I'm done. All right, I'm sorry I'm not saying this movie's the greatest fucking thing ever.
I'm not telling you to say it's the greatest fucking thing ever. I'm just saying that I didn't look on stuff like that because luckily with the direction that this took, it felt like it felt very realistic. There are instances where police can act like this. There are instances where shush,
okay.
You talked.
All right.
Where police paranoia can get so high that they will think that they're stopping something before it happens when they're really just stopping nothing. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate cops, but this situation can be very realistic, all because of wrongful human intuition. Aside from that, I was blown away by the actors that they got actually being able to act. The actors that they got playing these parts, especially for E, Dre, and Cube. Again, Cube's son does very well in this. Mm-hmm. They all are actually very, very convincing. They're very convincing. They are very good at bringing us into this story. They're very good at portraying the characters that they are set out to be. They are ambitious rappers who want to try not only just to make money, but to be able to produce an art. They're able to create a new art. They're able to produce something to the world that has not been done before. That's what I loved about this, and I loved how it did show the positives of being a famous group and being on tour, having the ladies around, all blah 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 blah, which actually came with one of the best tracking shots that I've seen in a very long time. The one where they're in the hotel trying to find Felicia, where they have a two-way hotel room. Starts at one door. Two hustlers or bums or whatever try and find a girl, and they're trying to threaten them with pieces. And E goes around. They've got a hotel room with hookers for days, and yes, tits and all. Which Trainwreck could have learned something from this, but gathering every member one by one. We got boys outside. Where's Felicia? Oh, okay. Load up guns. Get the boys. Come out the other side. Point them in their face. And this had passion. This movie had what NWA had. It had passion. It had attention, and it had drive. That's what I loved about it. And the acting, I loved the acting. Even Paul Giamatti, one of my favorite actors of all time, as the sleazy agent who backs up Eazy-E, the front man of the group, which actually leads to further controversy. And I just love how even these artists, when they split up, they still want to stick to the craft, even amongst the excess. Dr. Dre, once he gets his new posse, he still wants to stick to the art, where everyone else just wants to do drugs. They only want the benefits. And they actually do show the creative process when it comes to making rap music, finding the lyrics, finding the beat, finding the production. And it is actually pretty hard, but I will watch these guys to give rap music respect, as opposed to Lil Wayne or Tyga, any of the Young Money clan, where they just fart out garbage. I will watch these guys and make sure that this craft is actually where it actually pens out to be very, very poignant music. I do have one gripe though. This isn't perfect. It's far from perfect. The story is a little bit odd in structure. Starts out with them getting together, and it culminates into them coming together as a group, going on tour, getting to their hype, it peaks too early. The story peaks too early because as soon as they're done with their first tour, Cube leaves and everything goes downhill, plateaus to a flat surface. It peaks too early, and then it flatlines. But luckily, everything that happens before then still has enough energy to keep it riding out and to actually show that these characters do have turmoil and that they can experience downfall and experience these negative emotions when they're leaving the brothers that they originally had in the beginning. But yeah, it does lose speed and it does lose hype, but I still found it very enjoyable, and I was bouncing my head back and forth every time that they were performing during their tour. I was hyped. Anything else?
You pretty much covered it. Besides the gripes that I said, yeah, the movie just as a biopic, it's fine. You know, I don't really have anything majorly against the characters. I don't really have anything majorly against the real life counterparts of them either. I just said I'm just not a huge fan of the NWA because I don't think rap is really cool by itself. It needs, like any music, it needs substance. And not to say that
I found a lot of substance with their music.
Not to say that none of their music does have any substance to it. I think some of it is very good, but it's kind of with a lot of things. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. God, I'm going all over the place. All in all, yeah, it was fine. I felt like if it was going for more realism, it shouldn't have been so biased,
one-sided. I can understand where you're coming from with that.
But other than that, as a film, it's fine. It's interesting, and hey, I even got into the music at times. So
Coming straight out of Compton.
yeah. So
From the gang called Netflix Attitude.
Ugh. I love the music.
not the best movie I saw all summer. Definitely far from the worst. So it was fine.
I really enjoyed it, and it'll probably be on my top 5 because, again, we saw a handful of stuff during the summer and the overall year, but didn't see enough. But I still loved it, and I thought it was a great way to cap off my summer.
We're gonna take a little break, but as soon as we're done with this, we're gonna have a couple more quick ones to wrap up the 2015 year. Boom.
Bye.